back to the channel, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And as you can see in the title, man, I think a lot of people are tired of 9 to 5s. And before I start the video, I just want to say no disrespect to anyone doing 9 to 5s. I think it's very, very honorable. I think majority of the world, most people are working like, you know, just regular jobs, regular everyday jobs. And I think a 9 to 5 is fine. A lot of these influencers, a lot of these people, even some of these news anchors, they go online, they go on their pages and they kind of crap on 9 to 5 workers. And for some reason, doing a blue collar, honest day, 40-hour week, for some reason, a lot of people crap on it. But although I agree in some sentiment, I'm not crapping on it for those reasons. I'm crapping on it because if you are a creative, if you are ambitious, if you have any desire to become your own boss, to attain financial freedom, you will not necessarily achieve that by doing a 9 to 5. Financial freedom does not come with a 9 to 5. Financial freedom does not come with working for someone else to try to get them richer. Working for someone else to build their business. And I apologize right now, guys. I'm on the beach, so you might hear some wind. So if the audio is a little bit choppy, just understand I'm out here, man. I'm outside. I'm out in nature. So you're gonna see some animals. You're gonna hear some waves, hear some people. So just bear with me. But yeah, 9 to 5 in 2026 does not offer the same amount of benefits or fulfillment as it did 50, 80, 100 years ago. A lot of people nowadays have to work multiple 9 to 5 jobs or one full-time job and a couple part-time jobs or whatever just to make ends meet. And I think in 2026, the way how politics have been going on, or the economy, how it's set up, or corruption, whatever side of the spectrum, whatever side you're leaning on, something isn't right. And the fact that most people have to work a second job or have to find a full-time job or create a side hustle or whatever else just to make ends meet. I don't know if that's the future our parents, our grandparents was hoping for, but this is the future that we got right now. And I've worked several 9 to 5 jobs in my life. I worked in warehouses. I work at plants. I work at supermarkets. I worked in restaurants. Worked on college campuses, and even did some part-time delivery, food delivery, right? And I can tell you, it is more fulfilling trying to develop something for yourself. It is difficult. It is absolutely difficult to create a career or a lifestyle for yourself where you can attain financial freedom. And I'm still on that path right now. I'm still trying to figure it out. A lot of people can say, oh, you can try day trading, you can try investing, you can try real estate, you can I don't know. There's so OF. I don't necessarily I'm not condoning OF or anything like that, even though people are making a crap ton of money on it. But that's a different thing. I don't believe all money is good money. I don't necessarily believe that. But I think the state of the world right now, which technology, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all this stuff, all this technological advancements that we're making in society right now, I don't think it's necessarily to the average person's benefit. You read these reports, you see these articles about companies are axing out people. The 30,000, 40,000 people are losing their jobs, maybe at Amazon or UPS or wherever else. But these companies are still making millions annually. And how does that make any sense when so many people are losing their jobs, but the AI that they're implementing, the software they're implementing, they're still amounting a lot of money annually, year after year? That doesn't necessarily make any sense to me. But that's what they're reporting. So that stuff right there doesn't even that stuff right there doesn't make any sense to me. There's some people waving by while I'm thinking. Well, me personally, working a 9 to 5 job for 15 years, almost 20 years, I can tell you there is no fulfillment that comes in that. Now, throughout my time, I have met a lot of people that are okay with working in a warehouse, working in a regular 9 to 5. They just want to go into work, clock in, clock out, and then that's their thing. They're okay with people telling them what to do. They get to a particular job on time, They do that job, they go home, and that's it. They just want to collect a paycheck, 40-hour week, and that's about it. And to me, that was not enough. That is not necessarily saying that the 9 to 5 is bad. It just wasn't for me. But a lot of people are looking at 9 to 5s as bad. When you go into these jobs, for instance, I'll just give you an example. I used to work at a warehouse, and it is so sucky. Now, this wasn't a 9 to 5. This was a 12-hour. This was a 55, sometimes a 60-hour work week. Because we have demands and we got to make numbers and all that, and it was so sucky. One, you have supervisors always on your back, running up the numbers, trying to see if you're being productive or not, which you are, but according to their standard, their numbers, you're never productive. Even when you meet your numbers, it's just, oh, you're just on that line. You have to do above and beyond. That's what they want you to do. Even though you're making the same paycheck, they still want the average employee to go above and beyond, which never made any sense. So that right there is already annoying. You're always being constantly monitored. How many bathroom breaks you take, if you're a minute or two late back to your station. It's sometimes difficult to take vacation time, or if you just want to leave the job a few hours early, it's really difficult to even set an appointment during the day. So if you have a doctor's appointment, if you guys have kids, or if you have to get your car into the shop or whatever else, it is so difficult doing that with a 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong, it's difficult when you have a career. The difference is when you have a career, especially when you are your own boss, is that you get to set your own hours. You employ people, or you have assistants that can handle your day-to-day tasks that's a little bit mundane or not as important. Like your time can be allocated elsewhere. You can be more productive elsewhere, and a 9 to 5 just doesn't suit that. Think about it for a second. From the time that you are 18, you are expected to work and provide for yourself. Some of you guys can start at 22, 25, depending if you still live with your parents. So, I mean, the way how the economy is, a lot of us are like 30 years old, still living with our parents. So, and that's no shame. That's just the way how the economy is set up. However, you are expected from 18 to about 65, 67, right? You're expected from 18 to about 67 when you retire to work. Hopefully you can retire, because most people working, especially if you're working a 9 to 5 job, that is not enough to make you retire. Especially with a lot of corporations, companies getting rid of the pension and going more into like the 401ks and their like system retirement plans that they can do like maybe 1%, 4% matching, 50% matching, depends on the company. There's certain benefits in there like medical, dental, vision. Again, depends on the company. Not all companies offer that, but most people working today will never retire. And that is not to be morbid, that is not to be pessimistic, that is just a reality. Most people today who are working at our regular 9 to 5 job, even if you're working multiple part-time jobs, will not have enough to save, to invest, to enjoy their retirement. What is even retirement today? But anyways, I mean, to 65, to 67, you're expected to retire. Who designed those rules? Whoever created this script of life, saying that working from this young age to this old age, and hopefully by the time that you retire, you have enough energy, you have enough money, you have enough resources stacked up that you can actually enjoy your retirement. And that's assuming that you are a healthy 65. Like there are no medical ailments, which, let's be honest, the average 60-year-old, 70-year-old, there's medical involved. And if you live in the West, forget about it. Medical is so expensive. But what is the solution? A lot of people suggest that schools should be teaching the youth about financial literacy, financial independence. And although I agree, I understand that is not how the commercialized public school system is set up. That is not going to happen. And if they do make it a part of the curriculum, it's not the real financial literacy, the financial independence that they want you to actually use to succeed. Because think about it, when you're in class, basically designing you or I guess priming you to become the perfect employee. They're not priming you to become a boss. That's just the reality. You expect to be in class, get good grades, raise your hands, ask for permission, and I think that's not the way how successful business owners are actually created. It's not. So what are the solutions? You can, one, take the easy route, or I guess the most viable option for a lot of people. Again, there's no judgment. You can continue to just work that 9 to 5, have someone else be your boss, tell you what to do, when to go to lunch, when to clock in, to clock out, and the job is just gonna be just over broke. Like, you'll just make enough to survive. You'll just make enough to make ends meet, or barely make ends meet. You can invest in yourself, get a trade, hone in on a skill, become a professional, that people pay you for your services, for your knowledge, for your expertise, for your expertise. And when I look around, I'm like, these people that are above me, my supervisors, my managers, the CEO, the director, the president of the company, whoever else, a lot of them, yes, they've worked to get into that position. I'm pretty sure they've worked hard or whatever else, but a lot of the people making the most amount of money do the least amount of work. And I thought to myself, it's like, sometimes the people that are in charge, they're not necessarily the most qualified, but they have connections. They know how to resource. Some of them are Nepo babies. Their mom, their dad started the company, and that's how they become a manager. That's how they become the next CEO in line or whatever else. But I'm talking about the average person. One of the solutions would be, listen, that's just your life. You want nothing more, or these are just the cards that you're dealt right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want more out of life, but a 9 to 5 is just where it's at for you right now. And it's not your season to maybe do something else. I don't necessarily believe in that, but maybe some people do. Maybe it's not your season to start something for yourself. You can invest in yourself. Start a business, start a company, get a trade, get a certification, get a license, and go into real estate, go into something. If you sew, if you knit, if you can make t-shirts, if you can cut hair, shape up eyebrows, something. There's something out there. It may not make you a lot of money, but it will give you the freedom to take control of your own life. And I think that's what a lot of people need. I remember so many days sitting in traffic, loathing Mondays, loathing the fact that I have to go in. The weekend was so short. I have to put in another 40, 50, 60-hour week at the job. Barely have any time for myself, barely have any time for my friends to do any activities. But this is what you have to do because you got to pay bills. You're adulting, as they say. And at the end of the week, at the end of that pay period, you barely have enough money to really enjoy life. And then you continue the same cycle month after month, month after month, and then you do your taxes and be like, wow, this is what I made. This is it. And you know what's worse? A lot of people that actually invest in themselves, get a certification, get a degree, they go out there into the market, and the market does not reward their effort. The market, there is no demand for whatever they studied. And you can't necessarily blame the market. It's just things change all the time. Things change. But you have to do what is best for you to go out there and get it. Now there are people out there who are putting out some content, putting out some adult content, and they're raking it in. People clearly have the money to spend on other things, but not necessarily to invest in themselves. And if people are doing those adult content, which I'm not suggesting anyone do, but that seems to be a viable option for a lot of individuals, and they seem to be okay with that. Hey, like I said, all money is not good money, but that's what they chose to do. So those are just some of the suggestions, man. You can, like I said, you can start a cooking channel, you can start YouTube. It took me such a long time to even start YouTube, and I'm still trying to get into the flow of things because I don't really know necessarily how this YouTube stuff is gonna go, but I want to be open-minded. I want to see if I can create a community out there. Maybe I can find some like-minded individuals. Maybe people are thinking how I'm thinking. Maybe they feel what I feel, or just a community that we can offer different insights. Because like I said, I try to be open-minded, so I'll try to understand different point of views. Okay, if that happens, then so be it. But the 9 to 5 is not for everyone, man. It dulls your creativity. It is soul sucking. It's not an environment that I necessarily thrived in. I felt like there's just too much office politics. There are too many cliques. You're just doing mundane work that just dulls your senses, especially if you work in like a warehouse or corporate America. And so it's just too cutthroat, and there wasn't really much community. Which I understand, man. You don't necessarily need a community. It's just work. It's just work at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't really know what's gonna happen, man. These are just some of the thoughts on my mind. I don't want to make this video too long, but comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you okay with 9 to 5 jobs? Are you trying to leave your 9 to 5? Are you know, maybe your 9 to 5 is fulfilling. What advice do you have for others that are just in this rat race, man, and they're just mentally, physically, financially exhausted, and they're looking for other routes? Not everyone can have the opportunity to work online, but what other options do people have out there if they want to clear their schedule, attain more financial freedom, and just live a more stress-free life, man? Because this 9 to 5 is not it. It's not it. Like I said, if you're into that, if you like it, I love it. That's my saying for a lot of things. If you like it, I love it. But this 9 to 5 stuff, man, try to create a way for yourself. And if you want, or in the process of creating another career path, a company, you can use that 9 to 5 as a stepping stone to finance your future endeavors, finance your future business. Hey, listen, start that clothing company. If you want to use some of what you earn to trade, to invest, to buy your first property, do it. I understand it's tough because people still need to survive. It's tough out there. But you don't necessarily have to just quit and be like, oh, I'm just going to invest in myself 100%, which you can. But some people need to take a few baby steps, and that's okay. Use that 9 to 5 to finance your life and attain financial independence, man. So I just wanted to put that there. Thank you for making it this far into the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you